5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We live on YouTube. We're live. Hey YouTube, I'm Dan Salem. We are going live on Facebook. 3, 2, 1. Boom. All right. Hey. It is Tuesday evening, January 17th. I'm Dan Salem, live here talking NFL championship games, title games, and all other sports stories. Live on YouTube, BuzzChomp channel. I will tweet that out in a shake. Live on Facebook Live at the Dan Salem. At the Dan Salem on Twitter. There I am. I'm going to go tweet this link out so everybody can find it. Tweet. I tweeted that out on my personal at the Dan Salem. And I'm going to give that baby a nice quick retweet over on BuzzChomp. At BuzzChomp on Twitter with a little extra Z action because that's how social media goes. All right, this is the playoffs of the NFL. We got the Final Four here, and oh wow, all I gotta say is oh wow, because the 4 quarterbacks left standing are out of this world. Now, up until this season, Matt Ryan has always been a step below Rodgers, Roethlisberger, and Brady, namely because he hasn't won a championship or much of anything in the playoffs. But he is, my opinion, the MVP of this NFL season. He's going to face off with Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game, and then it's Brady versus Roethlisberger in the AFC title game. Fun fact, 13 out of the last 14 years, the AFC representative in the Super Bowl has either been Brady, Roethlisberger, or Manning. Now, granted, Manning retired, but this year will be 13 of 14. I don't know how many this can go, but frickin' Brady, Roethlisberger, and Manning have owned the AFC. And once again this season, one of them will be representing the conference. Everyone counted out Aaron Rodgers and the Packers, but they just can't seem to lose. Another victory over the Cowboys. Their winning streak, I believe, is at 8 games. This is getting out of hand. I can't wait to see them face off with Atlanta. Now, the home teams have truly dominated this postseason, unquestionably so. Now, the Packers did win on the road, and the Steelers did win on the road. But 6-2, the home teams and the favorites this postseason. If you're betting against the spread, it makes these championship games quite tricky. Green Bay's getting 5 points. The Steelers are getting 6 points. It's tough. It's a tough choice. I'm sticking with the home teams because, honestly, they've just been cruising, and I expect both of these games to be good. But let me first talk AFC. So, Pittsburgh, right? Pittsburgh looked good against Kansas City because they marched down the field, yet they got all field goals. They could not find the end zone. I'm going to go looks good. Yes, Roethlisberger was playing with an injury. Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown each put up over 100 yards, but neither player, nobody on Pittsburgh, scored a touchdown. Now, this was the first time in NFL history where a team was outscored by 2 touchdowns and won in the playoffs. No other team ever has been scored on twice more touchdown-wise and actually come away with a victory. The Chiefs got the 2 touchdowns. They nearly tied it with a 2-point conversion at the end, but they came up short. Honestly, I thought Kansas City was going to win. They felt like a more complete, a better football team, but Pittsburgh's hotter, and Pittsburgh got their number, and they grabbed them. But they all got all field goals. Now, you can't beat New England scoring all field goals, and that was the first time in NFL history. So for it to happen a second time, unlikely. I don't particularly like Pittsburgh's defense. They have done just enough in these playoffs, but and they're playing great this playoff. So don't get me wrong, they're playing really well. But the Patriots are going to exploit the hell out of that defense. Like, I just feel it. They're going to exploit the hell out of that defense, and I'm not sure that Pittsburgh can do enough up in Foxborough against New England's D to win this game. Were they really trending up last week when they couldn't find the end zone? I mean, they likely get at least 1 touchdown this weekend, but I'm not betting on. I think New England is going to win because Pittsburgh's coming off a game that they didn't score, and the Patriots are going to use that. Like, plus New England's at home. It's Tom Brady. I like him over Roethlisberger. As a Jets fan, it's hard for me to root for the Patriots, but I do believe they represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this season, which will make the actual Super Bowl rather interesting. On the NFC side of things, Packers-Falcons. Now, I like the Falcons in this game. I'm scared as hell because Green Bay has been so damn hot. They lost Jordy Nelson, and they still looked really great against Dallas. But I think the Falcons' defense has been grossly underrated this entire season. And their offense just shredded Seattle once it got going after that first quarter because they had the bye week and they needed to get moving. They shredded them. Green Bay's defense was its Achilles heel for the first couple months of this year, and that's why they lost so many football games. Now, it's done just enough, and Aaron Rodgers has just been lights out ever since, and they've won for 2 months straight. So we can't deny it's facts that they keep winning, so the defense is doing enough. But that defense is not stopping Matt Ryan. They're not doing it. And Atlanta's got a really good running game too. Like, it gets overlooked, but they got a really good 1-2 punch at backfield there. Green Bay doesn't have a great defense. They don't have much of a running game. Can Aaron Rodgers really win one more game? Yes, he can. But will he against an even more formidable offense and a more formidable defense again on the road? I don't think so. I like Atlanta versus New England in the Super Bowl this season. I just think it's a great story, Matt Ryan. Like, he's finally gets to the Super Bowl. He's gotten over that hump. It's taken him a long time, but if he reaches the Super Bowl, he'll have gotten over the hump. I mean, we all put Roethlisberger and Brady and Rodgers in that category already. We don't put Matt Ryan in that category. But if he reaches the Super Bowl, he's there. He's in the class of all these other guys. Now, if he wins, that kind of really solidifies it. If he loses to Brady, he's still lost, and then we kind of forget about things until next year. But this was an amazing season for Atlanta after last year, such a terrible year. The year before, they were high. I'm big on the Falcons, and I really just think that they've been underrated all year, despite the fact that they keep winning. And I've loved how they beat up on the Seahawks last week. So they're my team. I'm on the Falcons bandwagon. Also, everybody loves Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, so I want to root against them. Everybody loves the Steelers and/or the Patriots, so I want to root against them. So if the Falcons make the Super Bowl, I'll be rooting for the Falcons. If Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers are in the Super Bowl, I'm probably rooting for the AFC team. But I don't know. It's hard to root for the Steelers. I got a hard time rooting for the Steelers. I'm not a big Steelers fan. Sorry, not sorry. Those are our 4 NFL teams left. The Final Four, 2 games on Sunday. Should be exciting stuff. We'll have a new president by then. Hopefully he doesn't mess with our NFL. Leave our football alone. Leave it alone. As a Jets fan, there's been several news and notes, but not too many. We re-signed our biggest off-season question mark, right guard Brian Winters. 3 years, 4 years. Regardless, it's 2 guaranteed, $15 million guaranteed. We got our 2 guards locked up. That's big because this whole offensive line is in flux. We don't know if we're going to get Nick Mangold back at center. We don't know about the tackles position. But we got our 2 guards in place. And honestly, when you solidify your offensive line, that attracts big-time quarterbacks. And that just means the running game can dominate. So that's a good first step. It's only January, and the Jets have already made a solid offseason move. As for the Giants, lots of question marks. My brother Todd Salem is leading up the Giants force over at Pro Football Spot, and he's just gotten a ton of great content with him and his team about can they bring back JPP? What do you do about Victor Cruz? Is Ben McAdoo overrated? A lot of great stuff. They got a lot of people that can potentially leave. And so this team, I don't know, they might not look quite the same next season. I mean, how much longer can Manning keep it together? You've got Sterling Shepard and what's-his-face, Odell Beckham. You would hate that I said that. And they're the stars, but without an offensive line, they're not going to go very far again. It's interesting to see what the Giants will do. It's early. And there's also just a little bit of draft percolation, right? The Chargers are coming to Los Angeles, officially. They pick top 10, I believe, right behind the Jets. The Rams, I believe, pick right in front of the Jets. They're in LA. This is interesting. What are they going to do? Who's going to take a quarterback in the top 5? Are the Jets going to have to choose whether they go quarterback at 6 or not? There's going to be at least there's 3 top-rated quarterbacks, but none 3 of them are particularly high-rated amongst all the players in this draft class. I think the highest-rated quarterback's like number 20. But there's 3 top quarterbacks. Likely one of them will be available for the Jets. And I, for one, hope they pass. I think that they can get just as good quarterback play in the free agency or later rounds, or are already on their team, that I want them to focus on solidifying the line and the cornerback position, and then potentially drafting a young running back, only because we got 2 guys with a few years left, and Bilal Powell probably will scoot for a big contract if he keeps playing up to par, but you get a young guy in with some real speed, because I love what Powell and Forte did, but they're very similar backs. They just look similar. Powell's got a little more punch, but I want to get someone with breakaway speed. And look what Ezekiel Elliott did for the Cowboys this year. Granted, they only played 1 more game than the Jets, but he was a superstar. Tied for Rookie of the Year. Yankees news. Alex Rodriguez is going to have a reality TV show helping former athletes deal with their lack of money. I think A-Rod could pull it off, but I'm not sure whose co-host is going to be. He needs a strong one. I'm not sure him alone is a TV show, but I got to see it to believe it. But that's fun news. It also looks like former Yankee Roger Clemens may reach the Hall this year and probably next season for sure. Him and Barry Bonds are inching ever closer to get voted in. And we got about a month until pitchers and catchers report, which means Gary Sanchez is reporting for duty. 1 full year with this dude. Oh man, playoffs or bust. And I just saw some breaking LA Clippers news. I'm a Clippers fan, and the NBA season is full throttle. The Clippers have not lost in January. They have not lost this year, but they just lost Chris Paul for 6 to 8 weeks with the thumb injury. He'll be back in time for the playoffs, but oh, that stinks. That just hurts. He's the heart and soul of that team. He's money from outside and mid-range, and just Mr. Effort, he's a great leader, great captain, and they're going to miss him for the next month and a half, 2 months. That sucks. But he'll be back for the playoffs because the Clippers are making the playoffs. So they just got to hold the ship together in the meantime. And that's what great teams do. They overcome. Okay, so we talked about football, baseball, my favorite teams. I'm going to head and circle back around to the 2 games this weekend. What are some keys to victory? Now, I'll start back in the AFC. Pittsburgh versus Brady. I mean, the key to stopping the Patriots is always to put pressure on Brady. That's not the same with the Steelers because Ben Roethlisberger handles pressure like one of the best ever. And he's big and strong and tall, and he just breaks it and skimpers out. And so that's not the key to stopping him. New England needs to shut down either Brown or Bell. I have a feeling they will focus on taking Antonio Brown out of the game. They make him a non-factor. Yeah, the Steelers can run the ball with Bell and they can control the clock, but they're not gonna score. And Patriots score quick. They score a lot. They score often. They score in many different ways. And so Pittsburgh's going to really have to rattle Brady. The Texans did a great job of it, and yet it was not enough. So New England's going to really be focusing on protecting him, and their key is if they can get a couple sacks, rattle Brady's cage. That could keep the game much closer than it otherwise would be, and Steelers got a real chance at pulling ahead of New England early. The Patriots, they just got to take Antonio Brown out of the game. I mean, that's easy to say, take out the best player. No, but I love, and Le'Veon Bell runs the ball great, but he's available to do so because everyone's keen on Brown. New England's going to have the right mix of scheme to subside that. Steelers' key to victory: score touchdowns. They didn't score any touchdowns last week. They need to score touchdowns to get out ahead of New England. New England, You keep Brown under 100 yards, you win. I think it's that simple. You keep Antonio Brown under 100 yards receiving, and you win this game. NFC. Aaron Rodgers versus Matt Ryan. If Devontae Freeman gets over 100 yards rushing, the Falcons will win. If Julio Jones gets over 100 yards receiving, the Falcons will win. I really think the Falcons, they do their thing on offense, and they're winning this game. If Green Bay's defense is able to slow them down, that's going to spell trouble, because that's all that Atlanta can hope to do is slow down Green Bay. So you keep, if Green Bay can keep Atlanta, one of those two guys under 100, they might win this game. But if both of them go over, case closed. If one of them goes over, it's iffy. And I think on the flip side, Atlanta, just honestly, neutralize Jared Cook. He was an X factor for Green Bay at tight end last week against Dallas. You neutralize him. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he needs to throw the ball to receivers. And Devontae Adams coming off a minor injury. Jordy Nelson out with a major injury. They're a little bit banged up. They don't have a strong running game, so I'd let them run the football as much as they damn well please. And then, honestly, you take Cook out of the game, you're really making them more and more one-dimensional. It's hard to win that type of game. And the Packers, they may get a couple touchdowns, but they're not going to win if you can truly neutralize and make them like a one-player team. I said I like Atlanta. I like New England. I also like them given the points. The home field advantage has meant so much these postseason, and it's going to continue to do so. My predictions, I like New England versus Atlanta in the Super Bowl, and I really like the Falcons to win it all this year. If anyone's going to beat them, it'll be Green Bay. Otherwise, if they make it the Super Bowl's up for grabs, obviously. But I like what Matt Ryan's putting out there this year. He just feels like he's got it all together. Let me see any other news and notes on the Twitter sphere. Like I said, poor Piss Paul out for 6 to 8 weeks. Brian Winters resigned. Meh. Quiet day in the world of sports. That's a good thing, right? That's a good thing. Questions. Butler was number 1 in the NCAA college basketball for like a split second. If you blinked, you would have missed it. And they lost for precisely the next day. Yeah, Clips Paul, he's having surgery. Oh, I didn't know he had surgery. Oh, 49ers are offering Kyle Shanahan their head coaching job. Will he accept? That is the question. I always liked the 49ers job. I liked it, except they aren't giving their coaches a damn chance. I can't believe they didn't let Chip Kelly have a second season. Like, Chip Kelly's a great football coach. I hope that he'll get another opportunity in the NFL because I really think he can make it work. He'll dominate in college if he goes back to college. But the 49ers, like, great city. Granted, the Raiders have a more passionate fan base, but they're going to Vegas. So the 49ers are going to own San Francisco's area. They have some nice young talent. Obviously, they got a question mark at quarterback, which makes it tough. But other teams with question marks at quarterback already hired their coaches. So why are the 49ers struggling? I don't know. That's interesting. Maybe they're waiting for one of the guys currently coaching and they can't talk to them. But if this is a real thing and they're going to offer Kyle Shanahan the job, I think he takes it. I'd be surprised if he didn't take it. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Antonio Brown did a Facebook Live video in the locker room after they won the game on Sunday. And basically Mike Tomlin, their head coach, was giving their team a pep talk and he was paying zero attention and just doing himself selfies and talking to the camera and blah, blah, blah. Got Mike Tomlin going off on the Patriots and all this closed-door stuff that shouldn't have reached the public, yet it did. Antonio Brown wasn't paying any attention to his coach. He was just all absorbed. And you did Facebook Live like me. I love it. All right, well, those are some news and notes, some fun facts. Our teams are more or less in the offseason. The Clippers just lost their best player, but they still have playoffs ahead of them. 2 great games this weekend. I'm Dan Salem. I will be back talking sports next Tuesday, 5 p.m. Pacific time. YouTube, BuzzChomp channel. Facebook, at the Dan Salem Facebook Live. I got 2 platforms where I live every Tuesday streaming sports. This is a sports live stream. We will know our Super Bowl contenders next Tuesday. We will have their date set for February 5th. It will be a monster breakdown. I'm Dan Salem, live on BuzzChomp on YouTube, live on Facebook at the Dan Salem on Twitter. Hit me up and send me your questions, comments, and your love. Thank you. You guys have been great. Enjoy the rest of your Tuesday. Peace.